Happy Monday. It's Write the Vision, bringing you your Monday motivation. So today's Monday motivation is titled, Don't Allow Your Mistakes to Defeat You. So let's define the word mistake. To misunderstand the meaning or intention of, to make wrong judgment of the character or ability of, to identify wrongly. I would make a mistake. I wouldn't take it well. I would beat myself up, and actually is something that I still struggle with today. I made mistakes in relationships, financially, academically, in my career, in business, and also in my relationship with God. It got to a place where my mistakes kept me in the prison of fear. And it got to a point that I was even afraid to try because I beat myself up so bad because of my judgment, my decision, or misunderstanding of something. I felt defeated. So this week, I want to encourage you to not allow your mistakes to defeat you. There are 3 things that I want you to do when you make a mistake. And these are things that I do as well. Own it, identify the lesson, and recognize how you can grow from it. So own it. I'm going to use the example of relationships. So I found myself in a cycle of unhealthy relationships. And I noticed the red flags. I saw them. They were as clear as day, but I would continue to brush them to the side. And what that led to was more hurt, more damage to myself and my self-worth. Because what I realized I did not have was a positive self-identity. I did not know who I was. I allowed relationships, unhealthy ones, to fill a void in my life because there was something that I was lacking, that connection that I was lacking. And I was not taking the time to develop that relationship with God, so I got into bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, and the cycle ultimately continued. So what I had to do is I had to own my actions. I had to own that I allowed myself to be treated a certain way, which showed that person how to treat me, which in retrospect showed me that I didn't respect myself. Number 2, identify the lesson. What can you learn, or did you learn, from the mistake that you made? So from my series of unhealthy relationships, clearly I wasn't getting the lesson. So I had to repeat it till I got it, which was sad. But a lot of us do that. So one thing that I learned is to value myself. And in order for me to value myself, I had to get to know myself. So one thing that I learned from those lessons, those unhealthy relationships, is I learned that, wow, Regina, you are really devaluing yourself. You are allowing yourself to remain in these unhealthy situations, and they are a stronghold. It's like keeping you in bondage. And the longer you stay in this, you are never going to grow. You are never going to get to your full potential by remaining in these unhealthy relationships and continuing to have contact with the past. So you got to let it go. But I'm grateful for those unhealthy relationships because they allowed me to take a look at myself and address the heart issues. See, God has a way of getting our attention. And God had to show me that I was devaluing who He created me to be, and I had no self-identity. So from those mistakes in the relationships and the decisions that I made to continuously stay in those, it forced me to take a hard look at my heart and get to the root cause of why I was remaining in those situations. So the lesson was, love yourself and know that God loves you. And it made me seek God in a greater measure to realize who He created me to be. Number 3, recognize how you are going to grow from the mistake you made and the lesson learned. So one thing that I learned from being in a series of unhealthy relationships is that I needed to have a relationship with God. So one thing that I did is I began to read his word and understand his definition of love. And when I understood his definition of love and I reflected on those relationships I was in, I was like, oh my gosh, that was not love. But also what I recognized was that I had to confront things that I did not want to confront. Some truths, some voids, some roots that had deep roots that I had to uproot in order for me to cultivate the new seeds that God was planting from reading his word. So recognizing that, one, God created me for a specific purpose. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And some of those things, when we say those, it may sound a little cliche. They're not. I learned through the word that it confirms and affirms who I am. And I was devaluing myself. So what I have learned from reading the word and the lessons from my relationships is that I can wait. I can wait because I'm in a season right now where I am seeking God more and desiring to learn more about myself through learning who he created me to be and how I am supposed to live. And in my season of singleness, I have come to appreciate that. So while the heartache, heartbreak, it hurts, and it does in relationships, I learned about soul ties, and I had to recognize that, okay, I have this new knowledge now. Now I need to apply it. I need to understand that everybody's not my husband. Two, I have to be careful of the bonds that I form with people. And I really have to monitor who I allow in my personal space, especially of the opposite sex. So moving forward for me, I learned a lot of things from mistakes that I made in bad relationships. But more importantly, I got to the root of why I was making those unhealthy decisions to remain in those situations. So that was a lot of hard work, but I'm so glad I did it. Just to recap, 3 things you can do to not allow your mistakes to defeat you. 1, own it. Recognize what you did and how you feel about the actions you took that led to the mistake. 2, identify the lesson. There is always a lesson in every mistake we made. And 3, recognize how you are going to grow from it. You have a decision to be victorious or defeated. So don't allow your mistakes to defeat you. All right, this is all that I have for you this week. I wish you all a productive and prosperous week. Slay everything on your to-do list, and I pray that everything that's on your to-do list is bringing you one step closer to the goals that you set for yourself to achieve in 2019. If this is your first time watching a Monday motivation video, welcome and thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this Monday motivational video. I hope that it has encouraged you. I hope that it has motivated you. But more importantly, I hope that it has inspired you to take a strategic action step toward your change or transformation. Alrighty, see you all next week. Be awesome.